If you are new to Phasmophobia, there are 3 things that you should focus on learning first. That is how to find the ghost room, how to use the evidence to identify the ghost, and then how to survive hunts. Everything else can be learned after the fact, and we're going to go over each of those topics so that way you can identify the ghost, survive, and start leveling up so you can get better equipment. First, let's look at how to find the ghost room, and there's going to be a few ways and a few items that you're going to want to use to do that. Probably the best item to use to actually find the ghost room is going to be the thermometer. Whenever you're in the house and you see a noticeable drop in temps, that's going to indicate the ghost room. Now, if the room is also cold enough, you will also be able to see your breath, which is also an indication that you are in the ghost room. Here's the problem with amateur though. The breaker starts on by default, so the whole house is going to be warm at the start. This is why I don't really recommend starting with the thermometer the whole time, because it's going to take some time for the ghost room to cool down. So if one of the first rooms you go and check happens to be the ghost room, the temperature is still going to be high, and you might miss it and waste time looking elsewhere. So here's a tip for the thermometer that I recommend you do. Just immediately walk into the house and set it down right by the front door. That way it's going to acclimate itself to the temperature of the house, and it's going to give time for the ghost room to cool down. In the meantime, I recommend that you grab a video camera, an EMF reader, and a UV light. Those are the 3 things that I recommend everybody start with as a new player, or even if you're playing with 3 evidences or even 2 evidences. The reason I recommend that instead of a flashlight is the video camera itself can light up the dark rather well, and it's going to allow you to see the ghost orbs. So almost half of the ghosts, 11 out of the 24, have ghost orbs. And if you see ghost orbs, you know that that is exactly where the room is. So if you have the thermometer on the ground in the opening hallway, warming up to the temps of the house, you can go do a quick sweep around the rooms, look for orbs, and then go to the next room if you don't see any. Now, while you're looking for orbs, you also want to be listening for interactions, which is what the EMF reader is going to help with. So if you hear something like a door touch, a light switch, an object being thrown, activate your EMF reader and go up to look for where the interaction is. If you start to see the needle go up, then you know that that was a ghost interaction, which is what the EMF reader tests for, which we'll go through a little bit later. This is going to indicate that the ghost is likely in this area, but it might not necessarily be the ghost room because ghosts can interact with things through the wall. If the ghost does touch the door as well, you can also check it with the UV light to see if you have ultraviolet. So after you've heard the interaction, you verified it with the EMF reader, you can check for ghost orbs. If you don't see ghost orbs, grab that thermometer and see which area is actually going to start cooling down, or which area you see your breath, and that's going to be the ghost room. So you are essentially listening for interactions, verifying it with the EMF reader, searching for orbs, looking for your cold breath, or then using the thermometer to verify temps going down. Those are the ways you're going to find out where the ghost room is. Take a pause here and show you kind of what I mean for how we can find the ghost room, because we know that the ghost has been interacting with this door. Now, is it in the hallway or is it in this room? And this is what I mean by we could use the thermometer to verify, because we didn't see orbs in either there or there. And obviously the temperature is higher up right now in the hallway, so chances are going to be high that it is going to be in the bathroom here, and we should see that immediate drop. Now again, keep in mind the randomness of the thermometer. Could go up and down, but we see that steady decrease, as I'm kind of in the way of it, but you can see how it is going straight down, and we know that this is the ghost room. Now that we have found the ghost room, we can actually start putting up the pieces of evidence. So let's say that you did start with, like I recommended, the video camera, the EMF reader, and the UV light. Like I said, you're looking for orbs, and if you don't know what ghost orbs look like, this is what they will look like on the video camera. Sometimes they can be confused for snow, so you want to make sure that they're not a steady decrease down, but you still look and see it kind of floating around or going up. It's a great way to distinguish that between either things you might think are orbs or snow or anything like that. UV is going to be left when a ghost interacts with a door, a light switch, touches a window, activates the keyboard, smacks a cooler, different objects, but mostly you're going to use it for checking doors. So check it. If you don't see UV there, I'd recommend checking it at least 2 or 3 times, because there is one ghost, the Obake, that has a chance to not leave fingerprints. So just double check. Once you do it about 2 or 3 times, if you still don't see UV, you can actually go ahead and mark out UV as evidence. But then if you do see a handprint, you know you can mark in ultraviolet. Then going back to the EMF reader. Now to get EMF 5, if a ghost has EMF 5 as evidence, there's a 25% chance that a ghost interaction will turn into EMF 5. So for example, if we take that door touch interaction, if we hear it, there's a 25% chance if the ghost has EMF 5 that that interaction will be EMF 5. This is why you want to keep constantly checking any interaction that you hear. Same thing goes with throwing objects, turning on light switches, or even interacting with like the ghostwriting book, which we'll get to here in a second. You want to just keep checking, as you can never really officially rule out EMF EMF 5, there's always just a chance that it could happen. And with the thermometer, hopefully we also use that to verify where the ghost room is. And thermometer is very easy to get freezing temps. It's just a sitting and waiting game. Now, sometimes a waiting can take a long time. It can get kind of frustrating, but you kind of just set it on the ground, go about collecting your other evidence or setting up your other evidence items, and you just want to check it periodically to see, does it ever fall below 0 degrees? If it does, that's how you know that you can mark freezing temps as a piece of evidence. Like we mentioned, the ghostwriting book is another, you just set it down and then forget about it. So you set it down in the ghost room, and then there's a chance if the ghost has ghostwriting that at some point it will choose to interact with the book. Now, a cool thing to note with the ghostwriting book, if the ghost ever throws and closes the ghostwriting book, you can actually mark out ghostwriting as a piece of evidence. That's because a ghost with ghostwriting will always prioritize writing in the book over throwing and closing it. For Spirit Box, that is one that I see a lot of players kind of make a lot of mistakes with. So first, the game will tell you, at least if you're playing on amateur, if the ghost responds to people who are alone or if they will talk to everyone. This means that if the ghost prefers to talk to people who are alone, all players must be out of the ghost room when you start asking the ghost questions. You also want to make sure that room lights, lamps, that kind of stuff are all off in the room. Flashlights can still be on, so don't worry about that, but make sure all of those lights are off in the room before asking the ghost questions, or you will not get an accurate response. If the ghost says we're responds to we're unsure, I just always assume that it's for people who are alone, so don't be afraid to tell your teammates, hey, I want to try Spirit Box if everyone can get out of the room. And that's the mistake I see a lot, is people constantly talking to the Spirit Box with people in the room, other players not realizing it because they're focused on their own stuff, and you might miss a Spirit Box response that way. So once all the lights are out, everybody is out of the room, you can start asking it questions like, where are you? How old are you? Are you here? Are you friendly? And you will see here that if the mic is active, you know that it's picking it up. And then as soon as you ask the question, if it comes back with a red next to the ghost, then it means that it heard you and there was no response. And if it lights up white, you'll also get the ghost writing, the Spirit Box response. Are you here? Are you friendly? There you go. And I do want to keep this in mind here as we do have ghost writing. I didn't talk about this in the original thing, but especially if you're playing on console at the beginning, voice recognition mode is going to be text only. And if you use a controller, here's going to be how it works. So you kind of do this, then you have the different buttons that you can push for it. Right here. And that's how it works. Not as fun as asking the ghost questions, but that is the option that's going to be on console at first. So just activate the Spirit Box. Then when you're done, for me, it's like circle. The final piece of evidence is probably the most difficult one to get, and that's going to be dots. The dots pin is not the best in the world, but thankfully it has been upgraded over time to have a bigger light range, and it's placeable, so it's more easily able to see. Personally, I just kind of place it towards the ground, so that way if it's a crawling ghost, we'll be able to see it better. And I kind of try to place it to where it covers as much of the room as possible. Also try to place it near the doorway, because ghosts, tend to come near the doorway a bunch to maybe walk out, then walk back in. There might be a better chance for you to kind of see the dots. This is what you're looking for with the dots. So you'll see the outline of the ghost in green. You want to make sure you see that. There's a lot of things you might confuse for dots if it happens to be a ghost event, or maybe confusing another player for the ghost, or even your frozen breath as a dots ghost model. Dots are really, really annoying to get. You can also set up the video camera and watch from the truck. That'll be safe. Of course, the ghost can interact with the video camera and knock it over. Now, sometimes we might actually have a hard time getting these final pieces of evidence, and we might end up in hunting range. So let me tell you how to survive hunts, because that's one of the most important things that you really, really should learn. And the better you get at the game, the quicker you can actually obtain the evidence, and the less likely you are to get hunted. But if you're playing multiplayer, your sanity will actually drain faster, so there's a higher chance of you to get hunted. First thing to know is the signs of a hunt. Now, most ghosts will hunt at 50% sanity or less. It's important to keep in mind, because it means if you kind of keep yourself above 50% sanity, you're going to be safe majority of the time, but there are ghosts who can hunt higher. But if you want to play the probability game, keep your sanity above 50%. If you're playing multiplayer, it will take team sanity, not individual sanity. Only the Banshee will take individual sanity. We're not going to get into that. Go by your team average sanity. So the surefire way to tell a hunt is going to be hearing the hearing the front door close and lock. So this is what it sounds like. If you hear that, you know that you need to run and hide. So I recommend you also have a hiding spot picked out after you find the ghost room. Always have this hiding spot in mind. Now you want it to kind of be a distance away from the ghost room so you can run away and get there without the ghost spotting you. So not only will the front door close and lock, you're also going to see your electronic equipment start malfunctioning. That's another sign that you need to run away and hide. Now if you're playing on amateur, there is 5 seconds that you have as a grace period before the ghost starts hunting. So that means you have 5 seconds to run away and get to your hiding spot. So if you even just start to see the electronic equipment malfunction, you'll start to hear like a ghost noise, run away immediately into your hiding spot. Don't even take a chance with it. Then you want to make sure that your electronic devices are off. And I also recommend you have push to talk on because the ghost can hear you if you don't, and any sound in the background can trip off the ghost to where your location is. As you level up, surviving hunts will get a little bit easier because you will have access to crucifixes to prevent hunt and incense or smudge sticks to repel the ghost and make you invincible to them. But for starting out early, your only bet is to run away, hide, and then wait until you don't hear the ghost anymore or when the lights in the room turn off. That's how you know a hunt has ended. You can also check by flicking on or off the light switch, which if you can do that, the hunt is over. If you're trying to turn on or off a light and it's not working, it means that the ghost is still hunting. And so again, to tell a hunt starting, front door closes and locks, electronic equipment malfunctions, you start to hear the ghost noise, run away into your hiding spot, electronics off. You can light up your path there. If you are worried, I definitely recommend turning on the light in your hiding spot room. You want to make sure that if you are hiding in closets, you do hold the door closed that you are closest to. You don't have to worry about the other one. If the ghost opens the other one, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Worry about closing it. Just hold your side you're hiding on closed and you're going to be safe that way as long as you don't have any electronic equipment and you do have push to talk on and are not trying to use the radio or local talk. So we know that the ghost is going to be up here in this room and the living room. So there's a few places we can make our hiding spot. I'm going to go upstairs because I want to be as far away as possible. Now I already have this one pre-made. We're going to hold this door closed and the ghost should not be able to get to us. And you know, we don't hear anything. We could go over here, check, we can flick the lights, we know that the hunt is over. So you can pre-light your area, like if you wanted to be farther on in, like if you wanted to run all the way back here, you could, you know, pre-light the way this way and know that, okay, I'm gonna run in there because that's far away. You know, be mindful of your sprint. And we're going to keep the lights on, and we know now we're waiting on evidence based on what we have. So, you know, we're waiting to try to gather our final piece of evidence. We're in hunting range, so we're always keeping our hiding spot in the back of our mind. We don't want to push forward too far in and be caught out. Because if we're like, you know, waiting here in the back corner for evidence, we have to cross all the way across the room to go upstairs. We want to be standing with our backs to our getaway, so we know if we have to make a quick getaway because the ghost does hunt, we'll be ready to go. And there is our last piece of evidence there. So we do know that it would be ghost riding, which of course is a demon that did not early hunt and get me doomslayed. But I'm going to show you what it means here now. It's scary because the ghost could hunt right there after an event, but we have 5-second grace period on amateur short hunts, so we know that we're ready to go. All right, I hear the ghost. I see electronic equipment malfunction. Front door locked. I know that's a hunt. I'm gonna go ahead, run all the way to the back. I like to close these doors just to be extra safe as well. But again, you come in here and you're going to be safe. We heard it stop, lights went off, we know hunt's over, and with that, we safely have survived the hunt. We know what the ghost is, we can leave and get our money. Then once you kind of get the hang of all of these things, learning ghost traits and abilities is definitely going to be the next step that you want to take. There's 7 easy ghost traits and abilities that you should learn first that'll help get you to more easily identify the ghost. So click or tap the screen now to watch that. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to all the channel members and the Twitch subs. You all are amazing. Thank you for the extra support. Happy hunting, everybody. Let's start learning some ghost traits.